This is my recipe for honey bastable cake. It's an Irish soda bread and the recipe is in my book, Bake Me a Cake as Fast as You Can. It really couldn't be a simpler bread to make for breakfast, and I think sometimes people get a little bit fearful about breads, but this is called a cake and it's more like a cake. It's really easy and there's no yeast and there's lots of simple ingredients. We have got some plain wholemeal flour, some plain flour and some porridge oats. And I'm going to add a teaspoonful of salt, 2 tablespoons of runny honey. And then I've got 400 millilitres of live yoghurt. And that's all the ingredients. And we're going to start off with a wooden spoon and just going to stir it in. You can make it in a mixer if you've got a mixer and that's easier. I tend to just make this by hand with a wooden spoon. It's super simple. And you can add other things. So if you've got things in your cupboard that you really like and you want to add some sunflower seeds, or you want to add a spelt flour, or you want to add something that you're particularly partial to, then put that in as well. It's also delicious with some sultanas or some dried fruit. And when it gets to this stage, you can scrape down your spoon and you can put your hands in. And we're just going to bring it together with our hands. And don't worry if you don't know how to knead, this is fine. You're just literally pulling it together and using your hands to mix rather than the wooden spoon. I forgot to say that I'd also put 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda in the mixture at the beginning with the dry ingredients, but it is in the recipe. And then when it starts to come together in a sort of ball of dough like this, just tip it onto your worktop with all the crumbs because we want to get all of those lovely bits into it. And we're just going to give it a quick knead. Just shape it round a little bit. And then we're going to pop it into the tin. Like that. Just squash it down a little bit. And then I'm going to sprinkle some more oats. And I quite like some sunflower seeds, so I'm going to pop some of those on top. Preheat your oven to 200 degrees and then pop the loaf in and set your timer for about 40 minutes. And then you can check it after 40 minutes just to see if it's done, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Now that looks perfect. Lovely homemade soda bread. And let's just check. Good way to check. We banged it. You may have seen me bang it. Little knock. Sounds lovely and hollow. So a little bit hot. Let's just check. Tip it out. Perfect. There we go. I'm just going to let that cool. And it's really important with bread. They're too doughy to eat immediately. Much as we love the whole idea of warm bread, you do need to let it stand for an hour or so just to let it settle. Otherwise it's a bit sort of doughy and wet in the middle. It really is that simple and easy to make. Lovely homemade Irish soda bread.